Nation in lockdown. Skies held hostage. They grounded America.
I'm clearing the runway!
Shutdown. Ground Zero. In theaters now.
Washington's burning tonight, and the Democrats just lit the match. The longest shutdown in American history has paralyzed our nation. 8,000 businesses can't get loans. Millions face losing food assistance. Air traffic controllers work without pay. Planes falling from the sky. But here's what they don't want you to know. President Trump has a nuclear option that could end the nightmare instantly. He's calling for something that would shatter a century of Senate tradition and unleash his America First agenda like a tidal wave. The establishment Republicans are terrified. Democrats panicking. What Trump's demanding could change everything. So stay locked in. And as we wrap up 2025, it's time to reflect. Uncertainty isn't temporary anymore. It's our new reality. And waiting for normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, Noble Gold Investments has helped Americans protect their families by diversifying with gold and silver. Real wealth isn't digital, it's physical. It's lasting and yours. No one knows what 2026 brings, but in uncertain times, precious metals provide stability. This holiday season, surrounded by family, remember the best gift isn't under the tree, it's peace of mind. And Noble Gold delivers that peace, 1 ounce at a time. So before year's end, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit nextnewsgold.com for your free wealth protection kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave future to chance, and find out how you can get the 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts by calling that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. President Trump at the White House today, and he is not holding back. We are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created shutdown.
So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown, and it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should. That's now officially the longest shutdown in American history. The Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government, and I don't think they'll act so soon. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days, we've had 4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now. We should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings. You know, they said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. I think they will. I think they're kamikaze pilots. I just got back from Japan. I talked about the kamikaze pilots. I think these guys are kamikaze. They'll take down the country if they have to.
And that's, of course, what they want to do. They want to derail the president's agenda by slowing him down. President Trump discussing the millions of Americans without SNAP benefits.
Worth, and now millions of Americans are going to be without SNAP benefits. And I will say about SNAP benefits, so when I was president, we had $7 billion worth, and now they have many times that, because these benefits were given to anybody that asked, and they're up to, I hear, just many times, $47 billion. So it wasn't the purpose of SNAP. It was for people that really had problems, down and out, people that really had problems. But during Biden, they gave it to anybody that wanted it. I think it's something you have to talk about because the numbers are incredible. But countless public servants are now not being paid, and the air traffic control system is under increasing strain. We must get the government back open soon, and really immediately. We have to get it up. We have the hottest economy we've ever had, and it's affecting the stock market now a little bit. But the stock market, as of Friday, has hit many record highs during the last 9 months, many. And it will again. This is just the beginning, because when these plants that are being built right now start opening up, we've never had anything like this as a boom. There's a construction boom right now, but that's going to be bigger than that. That's going to be an economic boom as soon as they open up, and it's going to be something special. Millions of Americans.
President Trump driving manufacturing back into the United States with his tariffs, manufacturing plants reopening. Yes, we are on the edge of an economic boom. But the longer that this government stays shut down, the longer Americans are strangled. Here is President Trump dropping the nuclear option.
For 3 1/4, it's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be, and bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so it's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way.
Terminate the filibuster. You see what's happening? You see how they're strangleholding his agenda? He just ran off a list of all the things he wants to accomplish, but he can't get it done. Senator John Kennedy says he told the president before his Asia trip that he wouldn't gut the Senate filibuster rules.
Also, to kill me, I explained to him, I said, Mr. President, the job of a senator is not just to advance good ideas. The job of a senator is also to kill bad ideas.
And how did he take your response?
Well, like you would expect.
Not happy?
He didn't. He wasn't unhappy. I mean, the president didn't yell or anything. Of course, he's never yelled at me. There's always a first time, you know. but he doesn't agree with me. And sometimes reasonable people disagree. But my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. We're not going to change the filibuster or the blue slip while we're in charge during your or my natural lifetime.
So that ultimately means there has to be some sort of bipartisan deal to reopen the government. Can they get there? A big question will be if the Tuesday elections changes how Democrats.
Kelly Loeffler, Small Business Administration, details how one job creator in Texas says the shutdown is preventing her from opening her new business because she can't get the SBA loan she needs to start construction. As long as they continue to block a clean CR, Senate Democrats will be blocking the American dream of entrepreneurship.
I've always wanted to own my own business.
Min Lee is so close to fulfilling her dream of opening up her own frozen yogurt shop, but there's one thing keeping her from it.
If I don't get the loan, I don't have the money to pay the general contractors for construction.
She can't apply for a small business administration loan because of the ongoing...
You see the chain of events happening here? She can't open her store because she doesn't have the money to pay the contractors. That money, that loan money, goes into the economy and pays for the labor to build out her store. It's a ripple effect. And the Democrats own this.
Government shutdown. Has that been frustrating?
Yeah, it's frustrating, stressful, because we don't know when it's going to open up. It could be like, 3, 4, 6 months, who knows?
Min leased this spot on FM 1463 near Cinco Ranch Boulevard in Katy back in June. Right now would have been the perfect time for her to get a loan. What have the banks been telling you?
They've just been we can get the documents ready, but they can't do anything. They can't do anything with the SBA until the government opens.
And when is that going to happen? She said 6 months. Goodness, we can't last that long. Hakeem Jeffries gets called out by CNN for lying about the Democrats' shutdown. On CNN, of all places, RNC Research calls it embarrassing.
The Senate and
Mr. Leader, you guys are voting no on opening the government, not Republicans. I know you're asking for specific things, and it's much more complicated than that. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Hold on a second, Dana, because let's just be clear about that. The American people clearly understand who's responsible for shutting down the government.
Yeah, but you said they shut down the government.
They did shut down the government. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
Yeah, but you guys are holding up the votes. Don't play games, Hakeem. Here's more from Kelly Loeffler Small Business Administration says the federal shutdown is brought to you by the Senate Democrats.
President Trump's. Well, look, Maria, this federal shutdown is brought to you by the Senate Democrats. It's the party of defund the police. Is now defund America, especially Main Street America. To date, in the first 36 days of this historic shutdown, and by the way, it's no coincidence that it comes on the one-year anniversary of President Trump's historic election. It proves two things. First of all, Democrats cannot accept the fact that President Trump won in a landslide election. And secondly, they're willing to do anything to stop his America First agenda. And nowhere is it more apparent than on Main Street, where over 8,000 small businesses have not been able to access their SBA loans. Now we're talking an economic impact of over $4.5 billion spread across main streets in this country. And so at our agency, we're only able to serve disaster recovery efforts. I was in Alaska last week serving citizens there, helping them recover from Typhoon Halong. But look, small businesses to the tune of over 8,000 are not getting their loans. That means when small businesses only have 27 days of working capital and we're 36 days into this shutdown, we're starting to see layoffs. We're starting to see businesses close. 12,000 small business contractors have not, or I'm sorry, 50,000 small business contractors have lost access to $12 billion. So it's having a real Main Street impact.
That's exactly what I just said about the ripple effect. This is a disaster. President Trump, more on the filibuster.
If they take power, if I thought that they weren't going to pass the filibuster, I wouldn't even bring it up. They're going to pass it within the first hour. If they take power, and it's more likely that they take power if we don't do it, because we're not going to be passing any legislation. They're not going to approve anything. We're going to go 3.25 years. There won't be one bill that we're going to pass. Because the easiest thing to pass is exactly right now what they won't pass. And they'll do that, and they'll wreak havoc. But let's assume they get it. They're doing it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They're doing it anyway. And, you know, I have a case where I have great U.S. attorneys that can't be approved because of the blue slips. The blue slips, I think you should terminate blue slips, too. It's a mental termination because it's really a custom. If I thought...
And you heard Senator Kennedy say no on the filibuster and the blue slips. President Trump to the GOP senators, I think it's important. We have to get the country open.
But I think it's very important. We have to get the country open. And the way we're going to do it this afternoon is to terminate the filibuster. And it's possible you're not going to do that. And I'm going to go by your wishes. You're very smart people. We're good friends. But I think it's a tremendous mistake, really. It would be a tragic mistake, actually. It's time. It's time. If I thought they weren't going to approve, I'd sort of be with you. I'd be fine. I'd be neutral to with you. But knowing that they're going to pass it as soon as they get any semblance of control, they'll pass it first thing. Then
he's, of course, talking about the Democrats.
It's like we have to do it first. And we have 2 years, and we'll end up with 2-3 years, and we'll have this country so perfect. We will have passed more legislation than any Congress and any group of senators or a group of congressmen. And we will get it through. They'll send it to us. We'll send it to them. It'll be a beautiful machine. Otherwise, we're just going to sit around and argue with these people all day long. And they're highly unrealistic, highly unrealistic. Many of them.
What a nightmare. President Trump has an agenda. He has a mandate from the American people. And he's getting stonewalled. The biggest thing is the filibuster, he says. Will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before.
The biggest thing is the filibuster. We have to get the country going. We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court. They want at least five justices. Now I hear it's up to 5. I actually heard up to 7 and up to 9. Okay. They want new judges. They want to pack the court, and they will do it in the first day, maybe the week. Maybe they'll slow it down.
God, I hope he's right all the time, and I certainly hope he's wrong here.
Because there's no reason to rush. But they'll do it first week. They'll vote on this, and I have friends over there that are Democrats. I'm close to a lot of people, And I asked him about that because some people say, well, maybe they won't do that. I mean, they destroyed the career of Manchin and Sinema, and they got them out. They were the only objectors. Nobody else is going to object. They're going to do it the first day. They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators, okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be a very, very bad situation. And it's done. It's done. As soon as they attain power, the biggest thing is...
As soon as they attain power, President Trump is declaring the nightmare scenario that will unfold. And considering that we have all these Democrat wins, communists really taking over in multiple states and cities, the future looks very dark. And that's why he needs the Republicans to end the filibuster, push forward the agenda, show the success, and push beyond this communist takeover that's happening in this country. If you have value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Now, this is about more than a parliamentary procedure. This is about whether America remains paralyzed by obstruction or breaks free to fulfill its destiny. Trump knows that Democrats will nuke the filibuster the second they get power. They'll pack the Supreme Court, make D.C. and Puerto Rico states, and cement one-party rule forever. So why should Republicans play by the rules the other side plans to burn? Every day this shutdown continues, another small business dies, another family loses hope, another dream gets crushed under the weight of Democrat tyranny. The question is simple. Should Trump end the filibuster to save America? Should the GOP get on board with this? Let's have a conversation in the comments below. And while the Swamp Creatures scheme, gear up with some exclusive Next News merch. The link is in the description. Stand with us, stand with Trump, and stand for America.